During World War II, the Balkans became one of the bloodiest and most brutal theaters of occupation in Nazi-controlled Europe. Among the forces responsible for some of the worst atrocities was the 7th SS Volunteer Mountain Division, Prinz Eugen, a unit whose name would become synonymous with terror, mass executions, and systematic brutality against civilians. Formed in 1942, the Prinz Eugen Division was primarily composed of ethnic German volunteers, Volksdeutsche from the Balkans, many from Yugoslavia, Romania, and Hungary. Officially, their mission was to fight communist partisans operating across Yugoslavia, Serbia, Bosnia, Montenegro, and Croatia. In reality, their campaign quickly devolved into a war against civilians. From the very beginning, the division adopted a strategy of collective punishment. Entire villages were accused of aiding partisans, often without evidence. The response was always the same: burn the village, execute the men, terrorize the population. One of the most horrifying methods reportedly used by Prinz Eugen troops was the public humiliation and execution of prisoners. Survivors and post-war testimonies describe scenes where captured men, sometimes civilians, sometimes suspected partisans, were stripped naked, lined up, and shot en masse. These acts were not spontaneous. They were carried out as deliberate demonstrations of power and fear. Villages were surrounded at dawn. No escape routes. Men were separated from women and children. The men were often accused collectively, regardless of age or role. Once stripped, they were marched to fields, forests, or village edges. Machine guns replaced trials. Bodies were left where they fell as warnings to others. In many operations, hundreds were killed in a single day. The Prinz Eugen Division became infamous during major anti-partisan operations, such as Operation Black, Operation White, and countless smaller raids across the countryside. These operations officially targeted resistance fighters, but in practice they resulted in the massacre of civilians, including farmers, shepherds, priests, and villagers who had no connection to armed resistance. What made the division particularly feared was its discipline and cruelty. Unlike some units where violence erupted chaotically, Prinz Eugen's killings were systematic, planned, and often reported upward in sanitized military language. Area cleared, enemy elements neutralized. Behind those words were burned villages and mass graves. Women were often subjected to violence, abuse, and displacement. Children were left orphaned, watching their homes burn and their fathers executed. Entire regions were depopulated. By the end of the war, thousands, possibly tens of thousands, of civilians had been killed in areas where the Prinz Eugen Division operated. Precise numbers remain debated, partly because many executions were never documented and entire communities were wiped out. As the war turned against Nazi Germany, the Prinz Eugen Division retreated northward. Discipline collapsed, but the violence did not stop. During their withdrawal, the division continued to execute prisoners and suspected collaborators, leaving trails of death behind them. After the war, the reputation of the Prinz Eugen Division stood out even among SS units for its extreme brutality in the Balkans. Yugoslav authorities documented numerous war crimes attributed to the division, including mass executions, torture, village destruction, and crimes against humanity. Some members were captured and tried. Others disappeared into post-war Europe. Many were never held accountable. Today, the name Prinz Eugen is remembered not as a military unit, but as a symbol of what happens when ideology dehumanizes entire populations. Their campaign was not just a fight against resistance. It was a campaign of terror, designed to break the spirit of a people through fear, humiliation, and death. The stripped bodies, the firing squads, the burned villages, these were not anomalies of war. They were the policy. And for thousands who never had a trial, never held a weapon, and never had a chance to defend themselves, the only verdict delivered was the sound of gunfire.